Hi everyone, this is Mindy Eggen and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be walking you through the November 2021 My Monthly Hero Kit, the contents of the kit, and how to use it. The kit features a 4x6 clear stamp with designs and sentiments. We have 13 coordinating fancy dies to create some really fun Christmas characters, 10 sheets of snow cardstock, 1 sheet of white glitter paper, white puff embossing powder, a lacquer pen to add some shine, and some holiday twine. This kit is really fun this month and where you can use it in so many aspects of crafting, including Christmas tags, cards, scrapbooking, felt ornaments or paper ornaments, and gift toppers, just to name a few. First, we'll take a closer look at the 4x6 clear stamp set that is included in the kit. You can see here there is a polka dot and a stripe pattern. These are great to add designs to your tags or the backgrounds for your cards, but they're also great for just adding some designs to your die cuts like the scarves or the hat. Now we also have some really great sentiments including Open Me, For You, No Peeking, Merry Christmas, Warm Wishes, and Happy Holidays. Now this next thing is not included in the kit. This is the Colors of Earth paper, but I did find it was a great resource pack of paper to use in my die cutting today. So I just wanted to show that to you. Now here is a look at the dies. Now this is really fun because it's going to create a handful of characters and it's really fun to mix and match. So this first piece I'm showing you here is kind of your base piece. This is the face for all of your characters. Then you can start mix and matching and layering up your image. Just to give you an idea, I have the beard and the mustache to create your Santa and also the Santa hat. And also notice that all of these have toppers that you can turn them into tags, or you can trim that topper piece off just to create a die cut image for your cards. There's also the snowman hat, we have some holly, we have the muzzle for a reindeer and the antlers, we have 2 different scarves, and some pieces to create an elf as well. Next, I'm going to show you how to actually layer these pieces together and some different ways that you can combine them. So this is to create an elf. I die cut my pieces out of some green cardstock. There is also this hair piece that you can layer on top of the face, and then the hat would layer right on top. Now I also die cut that hat piece out of some gold glitter cardstock to add gold to the trimming of the hat and also to the bell at the end of the hat. And all you need to do is trim along those die cut lines. So there are lines that are cut into the cardstock, but not where it would cut it out. So you just need to trim it with a pair of scissors, and I'll show you that in a little more detail here in just a moment. Now we have the Santa Claus, and I am using for a skin tone one of the colors out of the Colors of Earth paper pack. If you wanted a lighter skin tone, the ivory cardstock works really well too. So I'm going to show you how to piece together your image like the hat or the nose. So I die cut out this mustache piece out of the same color of cardstock that I used for the face, and now I'm just trimming along those lines. Then I can just take this piece and layer it right on top of the mustache to give the color of the nose. You can also do some ink blending for cheeks if you wanted to add that to your characters as well. And I did that same process for the Santa hat. Here I'll show you it again with the snowman. So I have the snowman hat die cut out of some light gray cardstock and also from some red cardstock. Then I just trimmed out the band around the hat. I'm cleaning up my edges with the pair of scissors, and I'm going to glue this just right on top of the hat. Another thing you can do before you glue anything together is add some ink. So this is why I die cut my snowman hat out of a light gray cardstock. I am taking a dark gray ink and ink blending that color on. So this is going to make it look a little bit more dimensional, and this goes really quick. So you can see we have a beautiful highlight in the center of the hat. Now I'm going to repeat all of this with the rest of my pieces for my snowman and also the elf. I did a light blue around the snowman face, and I'm adding a dark green ink to my holly leaves and also to the elf hat. Then I'll quickly complete a couple of these images on screen for you. I'm going to be using the precision glue from Hero Arts for most of this because it was just really quick and easy to do, and it's also great for smaller pieces like the nose. So there we have the gold glitter cardstock that I die cut the trim of the hat out of. I added the hair. I also die cut that hair piece out of the same color of cardstock I used for the face because I needed to trim out the ears. Then I can just finish layering this together and adding the face on top of the collar for the elf. Now I'm going to work on the snowman, and you can add detail to some of the elements that you die cut by using that 4x6 clear stamp set. You can either stamp some polka dots or the stripes. You can either do a tone on tone stamping or bring in the unicorn pigment ink and stamp that on top to add a really great design to your scarf. Now I'll give you a look at all of the pieces finished and put together, and I did save the eyes and the nose on the snowman for last. Here's a look at the Santa, the elf, and the snowman, and what I personally like to do to add the eyes and the nose is just trim out small pieces of cardstock and layer it behind the images. So I did do orange for the snowman, and then I have some black for eyes. I did light blues for Santa and the elf. If you wanted this to have a more flat or complete back to it, you could trace this on a scratch piece of cardstock and cut that out to give it a nice flat layer behind it. And then also die cut the pieces once again to get those smaller eyes and nose out of it, out of black or orange cardstock. I just found cutting little bits of paper and adding it behind it was a lot easier. There are many ways to add details to these images. You could use a white jelly roll pen, which is what I'm doing. You could use the white puff embossing powder to add some texture, or you could use the lacquer pen for some shine. Also included in the kit is this beautiful holiday twine that you can just string through the top of your pieces. These can be ornaments, these can be tags, and that red and white striped twine is just great for the holiday season. Now I will walk you through how I use these tags on a card, starting with the candy canes background, which is a red rubber stamp. It is already foam mounted, so I just removed the foam insert from my Misty tool, lined up my stamp in the Misty, and picked that up with the door. Now I am taking some Meadow cardstock and I'm adding some repositionable tape on one side. Then I'm going to take that cardstock and place it over my background. This allows me to kind of pick and choose where on the background I want my image to stamp onto the cardstock. My sticky side was facing up, so when I closed the Misty kind of backwards, it is stuck to the bottom of my Misty. This just helps me ensure that I am getting complete coverage over that entire piece of cardstock, which is cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now I'm inking up the background with pine ink. So it is a nice dark ink. This is going to give kind of a tone on tone look. And I am just using a tool to kind of push down to give some pressure evenly across the background. I am going to stamp this 2 more times. I wasn't getting quite a clean impression, and mainly because this is a very detailed background. So I stamped it 3 times and just kind of really gave it a push with my fingertips to try and catch those details that I was missing the first time. I decided I wanted to use the snowman and the Santa on the front of my card, but when I had created my Santa, I didn't add any ink to it, and I wanted to match my snowman. So I am just carefully ink blending some mulled wine ink to the top of the hat using a small blending brush from Hero Arts, just being real mindful of the white areas, the hat, the rim of the hat, and that little poof, poof ball, not really sure what you call it. Just being mindful not to hit those with my red ink. Then I'm going to bring in Soft Sky, which is a really, really light blue. I'm tapping off a lot of the excess on my scratch paper because I don't want his beard to be blue. I just want to add a little bit of color to give it some dimension. Then I'm going to take my scissors and just trim off that part that makes it a tag. So I'm just trimming right along the top edge of the hat, making sure that that is really smooth, and that is going to let me use these for the front of my card. Now I'm going to trim my background down, and I am using the Nesting Infinity Rectangles die. Originally, I was going to use the second largest, but I decided to go with the third. That just gave me a little bit more of a white border around my background. To add a little dimension to my panel, I layered together 3 more pieces of white cardstock that is cut just a little bit smaller than my background piece here, which is about 3 3/4 by 5 inches. I layered that together with a tape runner and added that to a white card front that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And now I'm adding my characters onto the front of the card with a tape runner. There are a bunch of different sentiments that you could choose to put on the front of your card. I dug through my stash and I've been really looking at stamps that I've purchased a while back and haven't used. one of which is the Snarky Christmas messages. And I apologize when I'm linking these. Everywhere I looked, it's out of stock. So I really hope you have this in your stash because I love this stamp set. So I heat embossed a sentiment onto pitch black cardstock using embossing ink and white embossing powder, trimmed that down into just a thin strip, and then added that to the front of the card with some black foam squares. Then I just trimmed off anything that was overhanging on the edge of my card. And now I added my little dots back onto the hat with my white Jelly Roll pen because I lost that when I was ink blending. Then to add just a little bit of sparkle, I am taking the Sparkle Lacquer pen from Hero Arts and adding that just to the berries. So I am really loving how this card came out. I'm also going to show you a card that I created for the countdown to the kit that I shared late last week, which is super cute with this reindeer. I will have links down below to the supplies used in today's video and also to the blog post for today's card and also for my reindeer card. Now, these kits do tend to sell out and sometimes sell out super quick. So if you are not already a subscriber to the My Monthly Hero Kit, I do highly recommend that so you don't miss out on these fun kits that are just jam-packed with value for a great price. Thank you so much for joining me today. Here are a few other videos I think you might be interested in. Thanks so much and see you soon.